How's it going, everybody? I took me a little while longer to get ready than normal. I was ready to get streaming, and I'm like, you know what? I'm really hungry, and I had to choose whether. And I was like, am I gonna have food? Because I don't want to stream off in food. Because I'm not a fan of like hearing like the people sounds of people eating and stuff. But now I was thinking about there's like a lot of streamers that go eat food and stuff. So what I end up doing is I fix myself a bowl of ramen, and it's not even really ready yet. It kind of is ready, but I want to let it sit for a little while, for a little while longer. Because what I did is that I couldn't really afford much. Um, I ended up getting some instant ramen, the really cheap stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I have a kettle. I'll just take a bowl, put some ramen in there. I'll wait till my kettle gets hot, and I'll just pour the hot water in there. And then, that's boiling water, right? So we just let that, just sit there, just let it soak in the juices and broth, and then it'll be ready to eat. So, yeah, I might take some time, I might take a couple moment or two to kind of like, eat some ramen while I'm doing it. So if you hear some weird sounds in the background, I apologize. But we're gonna get right into the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Day 2 of the trial. I remember it was a big headache before, so we're gonna see how this works. If anyone's here and wants to help me out, please backseat me. Okay. There we go. I'm so nervous. So, that game is loud. Hold on. I need to turn this down, actually. Hold on. Options. Okay, I'm gonna have to manually turn it down. Yeah, I think that'll work. A little bit louder. Do 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 do. So, what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And different suspect has arrested at each of the crime scenes. Oh, Lana. Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. Well, I hope they didn't hold you for too long in questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you... Too much my regret. I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Guy. We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police station. Evidence there. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Bloodstained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have in my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall? We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Guy? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. It's strange how, like, this all revolved around the SL9 incident, and I'm curious how Lana plays into this. Because we've yet to still understand what the hell happened. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Evidence. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you have to clarify. Well, it takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain in both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim has evidence room that just disappeared. Yes, the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edwards' car. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In doing so, I believe in the way in which we should proceed the trial itself. Now that sets Mr. Edwards apart. He sounds so top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And what's supposed to be so admirable about that? Very well, the trial will resume. On the day of the crime that exactly transpired at the police department. Miss Edwards, you may call the first witness of the day to the stand. For the worst witness, the prosecution calls the suspect in the murder occurred at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Rabba. Hey boy. Things are getting wild as we get go. Oh god, I forgot it's Meekins. It's gonna ruin my voice. Oh god. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be the murderer, sir. So you're telling us you're the professional that you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I never killed anyone again, sir. You gotta believe me, sir. Sir, I want you to call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. Okay, I'm gonna be honest here, right? In the Attorney Online community, we used to have these characters, and there's a lot of characters that are on there that I didn't recognize because I never played this trial. I played the original Phoenix Wright game, but I never played this turnabout. So I never actually got to meet Meekins or knew about what he is. So I used to like pick random characters and just roleplay them just for fun. And a lot of people liked my interpretation of Meekins because he was just a person who was just he was just an incompetent goof who means very well, but you know, he's over the top on everything. And it's funny to me because the way how I roleplayed him is kind of similar to how this character was. And it's kind of funny how accurate I was to him. Please, Mr. Otra, sir, please help me, sir. Officer Meekins. Yes, sir. give us a report of the crime. Consider that in order.
Yes, sir. As you wish. After all, I'm part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir.
You can't fault for the lack of enthusiasm. Oh my god. Well, I'm gonna need a moment. Okay, now that I got my drink, I can weather this. Okay.
Although it's not my noble duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence for the room that day. I spotted a suspicious man, security scream, and rushed into the room.
I did not mean to do that. Whoops.
I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. And I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, and then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake.
Well, that's pretty open and shut. So the victim detective, Goodman, attacked you.
Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Mickey's family motto, sir.
I see, but then you fainted, and a colleague helped you regain consciousness.
Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir.
Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need is more info to work with, so we gotta press him. Yeah, let's press everything. Mr. Meekins, you work at the General Affairs Department, do you not?
Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir.
Yikes, now that's a scary thought. Evidence transfer taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir.
The Blue Badger?
Yes, sir. The lovely police massacre created by Chief of Detective, sir. I was so sure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That is my sole mission for the day, sir.
I see. Sounds like a very, important mission.
After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around.
Okay, I swear to goodness that if I wasn't so going high pitch, I could probably pull off a filthy Frank voice.
That I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room.
Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? Darn it, I need to stop doing that. Hold on, I'm switching controller. Hold on. Come on. We're only into the evidence room. You need an ID card, am I correct?
Precisely, sir. I have one right here on my neck.
So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right?
There it is, I found it. This is the one right there.
Could you please read us the number?
Yes, sir. It's 4989596. That's my number, sir.
I see. But the number 489-456 has been shown being used twice. Please explain, witness.
There's no real mystery, sir. The first time was when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. And the second time was when I went to get him after everything settled down.
I see. So it was during that second time when...
Yes, sir. It's when I spotted about a man on the security screen.
Okay, let's press this. Okay, so you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you?
It was a knife, sir. A knife.
Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then?
Well, with me charging in like that, he looked as surprised as I was.
You aren't exactly that kind of person who would want to run into.
But then I was reacting, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got a gash on my hand.
Well, maybe if you kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be...
When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I got him in by his collar.
Let's continue forward. What does that mean when you say you did it?
I know I don't look at the type, but I'm really into Kung Fu films, sir. The man let his guard down in an instant. I snatched his knife from him.
You took his knife.
I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I'm not sure I closed my eyes like a man.
Oh, I see. He must have been desperate.
The next thing I knew, the white coat was drenched in a sea of blood, and then... Next thing I knew...
Yeah?
He punched me around in my face, sir!
About that time when you regained consciousness.
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious!
Oh, right. According to the report from the officer, he woke up the witness about 5:30.
He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, nice to recover, that is.
When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir.
Your mission?
Yes, sir, the Blue Badger, sir. I returned to the entrance before we got out of hand.
Didn't the Blue Badger have a handprint? Maybe that's the reason? I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man the officer murdered really the victim? You got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins?
With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gate delivered it to me just this morning, sir.
The chief delivered it? What is that, a videotape?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. The videotape, sir. Contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
That's important. What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and was told it had been mistakenly erased. Oh, that's quite a mistake.
I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at.
Looks like communication with the police department is good as ever. Well then, let's take a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim.
Oh, please stop using the word murder, sir. It scares me.
A video of the real murder. It's just what we're getting ourselves into. That light's on. glove fell. Ah, okay. I don't know if y'all can spot the difference, but I know I definitely could. Well, I believe we all think the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling things stirred within us? What the hell was that friggin' wriggly piece of plywood?
Sir, that's the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs firm, sir. That's the Blue Badger, sir.
Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? So anyway, the tape seemed to prove the witness did indeed encounter someone. In the evidence room, sort of activity did take place. Your Honor, instead of relying clearly on incomplete footage, the witness testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir. As you wish, sir. His face can't be clearly seen in the video. But there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened a locker, which required Detective Fingerprint to do. The locker he opened, unquestionably, Detective Goodman's locker, sir. It must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
Well, I don't know about that. What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. That would mean the victim of the crime scene would have been Detective Goodman. Very well. Defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where the cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions, so that's where I have to start. So, I see one contradiction, but I don't know if... Okay. I'm thinking about presenting... No, okay, that wasn't it. Okay. So, I can't do this yet. I am gonna save here, though. I'm about to press everything. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? The face of the man who attacked you with a knife.
Sir, if you must label people having seen or not seen by the man's face, I believe it would be classified as the latter.
The latter? But you were standing right in front of him, were you not? More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you?
Oh, yes, sir, but, I didn't get a good look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when they're talking to them, you see?
Yeah, good trait for a police officer.
Still, I'm sure it was him. I bet my badge on it.
Oh, you about to lose your badge, then. Cause I don't think it's the person. But you don't know for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face.
Well, I suppose you might say that, that is, if you label what people be seen or not seen.
What does that mean? I mean, he did get attacked, so you never got a good, like, clear look at his face. Oh, I forgot to read that line.
Why is everyone looking at me? If I don't label your stares as disturbing or...
Makeups. Haven't been shown a questionable video at best. We are not in the best of moods, so please be more certain when you testify.
Yes, sir.
You claim the man who brandished a knife you as Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you're positive it was him. I mean, I had two guys ask if they could borrow jumper cables, and later realized I don't remember what they looked like or who they were. They brought it back though, so it's fine. Anyone with his key card could do it, I think, but yeah, all the lights, see, the light was already on. So, when was this? Yeah, it was about 14 minutes in. So someone's already been in that locker. The thing is, though, whether or not I can present this as evidence or not. I hope you like watching this full video a lot. About these lockers, there is no other way to open them?
No, sir. I must have tried all kinds of methods in the past. They've only respond to registered fingerprints, sir.
I wonder what kind of methods he tried. Can the man open the locker's lock that only responds to registered fingerprints? Then he must be the person who signed to. That doesn't make any sense.
Is that my point, sir? This too.
The locker. Oh, yeah. How do you know that information?
I heard of it, sir. What people know, sir?
People in the know.
Workers in the department at cafeteria, sir. They keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic troubles, sir.
For the record, the open locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source. So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video, the man's face.
Sir, if I may say something, sir.
Please do, after all, you're the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand to open a fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can be testified enough through this, sir.
Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie. That is, unless the feds can find a problem with it. There is a problem with it. There we go. Oh yeah, there is a problem. Regarding the video contained this tape, there is one thing to be peculiar that seems rather strange. The contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may have not been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction? Well, interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Miss Edgeworth? I propose we have the defense point out to us the alleged contradiction in the video. Oh, he wants me to point it out? For all proposals accepted, let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us the contradiction you speak of. I had to point out a problem in the video? The first time I ever had to do that. We set up, you can fast forward, rewind, and pause the video. Okay. Don't play too many times! I can't stand watching this video. How did this guy become a police officer? No, then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where... Right... here. The thing that's strange about this video would have to be this. Ah, damn. Oh, God. I know, that has to be it, right? Yeah, this.
Take that!
Gotta be this. Officer Meekins. Sir, what do you mean, sir? As I understand, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, sensor reads your fingerprint. And if it's a match, the light turns on and the locker is released.
According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir.
If so, then something seriously wrong with this picture. Yeah, apparently we didn't get a penalty. I guess because it's like such an because it was such like an advanced thing that they didn't want to punish you for getting it wrong the first time. When the victim reaches the handle to open the locker, this one a little earlier. See, the light was already on. I caught that right off the bat. I was like, wait a minute. Here, notice the light? What's this? It's already lit. Pressing my point, Your Honor. The locker had already been opened before the victim grabbed the handle. What's the meaning of this? Very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the lockers are locked, controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered. When a locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know, must have been broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would have detected and reported any malfunction. Oh, well, that goes to show the novices to keep their mouth shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor? Yes, why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, that isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? How, maybe something like jammed system sensor? Something jammed with its... The glove. The glove jammed it. Yeah. Okay, let's do the... right here. Shit.
Take that!
Please watch closely. The continuation of part I showed you earlier. By the way, it is cool that they had 3D animation at this point. I mean, I think at this point, this is like based on the DS version, an HD version of the DS version. So, at this point, I think Apollo Justice came out. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker.
But sir, it's been me straight to fall things out of full doors open. I have to fall out and roll out a great distance when I open.
Hey, we can't be sure. That item is completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers a lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door? Inserted? So I think this was set up so that the guy can get the items without it being him. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It's stuck between the door and the sensor.
Why is that now, sir? It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I close my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me.
But the object would have been extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, but also have to block the electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator. Yes, an insulator. But at the crime scene. Well, there might have been something that would have fit that description. I feel like it's stretching a little far here. It's stretching a little far. Obviously, it's gonna be this glove. I found this near the locker, a thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure that it was the victim's locker. But the tag says SO9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is that not so, Officer Meekins?
Sir! It would appear so, sir!
But the last person who would have been in there that did that would have been Edgeworth. Which I think that's the setup here. So we believe then that in fact the victim who this witness stabbed in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman. Did I mean misled, Your Honor? What do you mean, Miss Edgeworth? Defense is merely demonstrating the possibility and nothing more. The victim in this video is indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will also have one more testimony to prove this.
What?
I can't wait for the attorney badge to eventually be like the linchpin of a case.
Sorry, sir. Not sure what you refer to, sir.
Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course. Is this a joke? Very well, begin your testimony. I am so tired of doing this guy's voice. I'll make more rum real quick. Hold on.
There's one other thing that impressed the man with Detective Goodman, sir. In a room, one must use an ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, The gentleman's used this card.
Oh, yeah. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. Yeah, it does show that indeed is Goodman's number. The ID used at 514 is that of the victim. Just before the crime, huh? Yeah, without doubt, that's the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases would have been due for transferal. Why were those few people using this room? Ah, this particular evidence room was only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Yes, extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes me stand on end. Me too, though it doesn't make much of a difference. Though there was only a few cases up for transferal here, and most were cleared up by noon. Oh, right, I see. Now, let's move on to the cross-examination. Okay, we're just have to press everything. So, unlike your early testimony, you believe this is rock solid, do you?
Yes, sir. Solid stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped up in bandages, I'd have given my feet a victory sight, sir.
Couldn't it just be used his right hand for that? Let's hear my fully. We've seen, as we've seen, no one knows what he might say until the very last second. Is that the card hanging from your neck? One of those ID cards?
Yes, sir. The card right next to me in a cup, sir. I keep it right here so I won't forget it.
But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out and open like that?
Maybe I shouldn't wear it on my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times I get my tie get stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time, it's my ID card that gets stuck. So, yeah.
Maybe I should leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer gets only one ID card. Both police departments and prosecutor's office can attest to this. Let it be noted that this record is the witness referred to. Embassy, yes, this would be it, Detective Goodman. According to this, Miss Edgeworth, your name is on here.
So it is, Your Honor.
Not that prosecutor again. Maybe he's behind all of this. Bring the prosecutor like he could ID evidence. That's hilarious. So to scene. The inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today. I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue the cross-examination. Poor Miss Edgeworth. It must be so difficult for him.
At the time of the crime,
Yep, I already did this. Earlier, I believe you testified that you'd be asked the man to show his ID card. He pulled a knife on you.
yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir.
Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was just show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife.
Or maybe he's just panicked?
I think it just stems from contradictions. Let's point them out. What do you think? I'm confused. The problem with his ID card is when it's far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth seemed to miss something like this. Okay, so... I think what he said, he pretty much just ignores it. Okay, that was it. Wait, Officer Meekins.
I'm not good at writing, sir.
You see, I had the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene.
Well, that makes sense.
When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room in the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card.
A lost item report was only half completed.
But it shows Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important note to fill out the report. Let me guess, you believe this something would be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card.
Order, sit down. What does that mean?
Only can mean one thing. It doesn't require that much thought. When Officer Meekins encountered the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card.
Does the prosecutor have a response?
I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the lock of the evidence was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. I am correct so far, right, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive to the single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago, you seemed content and pointed your finger around. This is going to end well. Well. Seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone such lengths to prove. Oh, explain yourself, Edgeworth. Defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. The real crime can only take place in one location, the underground parking lot. At the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Ah, shit. So the one thing we used to save Lana in the first trial just got destroyed. But the thing is, though, the ID was indeed found in the underground area. So, yeah, we had to connect that somehow. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in this evidence still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered, and where did this person disappear to? However, the trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Fuck. Just so, Your Honor. Right, you had to do something or else Lana... you have to object. Objection! One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting just to what you just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecutor's trap. What are you talking about? The cross-examination was proven one thing and one thing only. Security video did not show the actual murder. It's the cloth. However, it cannot be said what has been related to the murder in the parking lot. Oh yeah. Specifically, the large amounts of blood traces found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police unit to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This might be my chance. Gonna call a certain Texas register stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean, Your Honor? The defense would like to request a specific witness. Who do you have in mind? Someone who we have reason to believe knows the truth. Truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecutors would request to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Fairweather was right. The person whom you want to have testify, what is his or her name? Is Damon Gant. No, this could be Jake Marshall. Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let you know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecutor agrees to the defense's request. Since he is responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Heck yeah. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now on recess. But the good news is I finished my bowl of ramen. Also, I'm glad we don't have to voice Meekins anymore. I can give my voice a rest. Jesus. There's no stopping you this time, Mr. Wright. What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. I haven't figured anything yet. Lana, you're the one that knows everything. Emma, you always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Well, I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, I guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gochu, what is it? Hey, you got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around all day on duty. And on top of that, you caught me here. I've seen happy people at funerals. Sorry, detective.
You better be, pal. Hey. Hey, 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 hey. I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor's guy.
That's okay, so have you brought what I asked?
You mean this, right?
My apologies, detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request.
My name? Never in a million years would you thought it would be you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SO9 incident files? I need them by noon. Talk about crazy.
The SO9 incident. Oh yeah, we need this. A lot of that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might as well... You might do well to read them.
Well, I can't believe you. The chief prosecutor will witness in that case.
This guy was a witness? Ooh, files for the Joe Dark killings. Saw 2 years ago.
Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with these serial murders.
Oh god. Perpetrator is Joe Dark. Serial murder sentence was death. God, there was a lot of people that died. Jason Knight? Edward Jones, Edith Kirby, Jeb Bates, Rachel Mark, Neil Marshall. Jason Knight, that sounds familiar. I'm gonna have to look this up real quick. Hold on, I'm gonna Google this. Okay, it's no one. For a moment there, I thought this was gonna be like one of those cases that connected to other cases. Nah. Oh god.
Oh, what? Now that I brought you the stuff, you're gonna ignore me?
Emma, but why is your name here? I don't know, unless... No, it couldn't be Lana. This is on is that? That's the classification number police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew what it was. The Joe Dark killings.
Oh shit!
The Joe Dark killings? No, Lana! That's over with! No!
Wait! She ran away. Ah, you know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal. I'm out of here.
Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. Can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you might just be able to figure it out. How to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I better take a good look at this file. I already did. To be continued. Next time on Dragon Ball Z. Okay. That took an hour to go through. Hopefully this next part won't be as bad. The court will now reconvene the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. An officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Or I'm just a man, same as you, wanting the trials of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly across the intersections when needed, yes, we get it. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. As for my name, you listen hard enough and you'll hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I'd have heard Edward describe it that way before. Now, Jake Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of the guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sand. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best to get on with it quickly. Please share with us your testimony on the day of the crime. In plain old English. My job was to keep a weary eye on the bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make the round 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected with 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at the street side saloon when time went down. And I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time for me to hit the trail. Well, I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't hear me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? Oh, I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon reckon even a cowboy like you knows about those. Yeah, yes, well, it's about the fingerprint activated locks on the evidence lockers. Fingerprint activated locks? Some kind of newfangled doohickeys are those. He's not being helpful. He's not good with machines or following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses, now don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? Yeah, this one seems like trouble. Okay, Ms. Wright, he's all yours. Alright, how in the fuck? Okay, I have trouble with sleeves, so I best keep my cool. Before I use it though, I better up the ante. I don't know what that means by upping the ante. I was thinking, do you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera. The room's so still. Even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings. You interred them? Videos aren't that useful, so when the time will come, I would erase the tape. If nothing usual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I erased the tape, I felt like I was just erasing a part of my life. This guy was a flare dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So, and actually, you don't physically enter the evidence room? But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in his way. No desperados I know join the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in that evidence room that day. There's a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? You used to be a detective, so you used to have an evidence room in the past, right? Of course, back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. And yet, you didn't know how the fingerprint locker could have. Sorry, partner, I ain't good with machines. Couldn't even tell you how the bike works. That's quite incredible. The sensor on the locker's handle cannot be seen. It's well known that detectives are unaware of their presence. Really? Now that you mention it, the technology said something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem like there's any... It doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you're doing and what kind of took place? What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even angel steak lunches could beat the parlor's Vongole sepia pasta. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to go eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this was at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. It's usually when Edward says, did you not want to raise these here? And an ammo, Officer Marshall? That's right, partner. Or as you call it, evidence. If you plan on to pin me to this crime, you better draw. Otherwise, you just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back to the west and to the sunset. One thing does seem clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to be seeing anything. Texas don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently, your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card on my sleeve, so I best keep it cool. Oh, God, what do I present here? Now you good. Oh, really? What is the interview saying? I'm actually stumped on this one. I guess I would have to present this here. I was emotional. Does this strike you as odd? That is, you're being called to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time. You weren't in the security room at the time of the crime, and yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. In short, Arxis doesn't want BlazBlue and Guilty Gear overlapping, but if they return to BlazBlue, expect major changes. I don't want BlazBlue Strive. I feel like they kind of done everything with BlazBlue, right? I mean, I understand that BlazBlue is a very, like, famous series, but, like, it felt like it kind of ran its course. Like, you really can't go forward with the story that it had going. You would have to do, like, a reboot. You would have to, like, start all the way over. You had to pull a Soul Calibur. With Soul Calibur 6 being the beginning of Soul Calibur. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, that is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. Only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints was covered in blood. Goodness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away, however. Luminal tests clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? Well, it seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on their shoulders. I take you have an explanation, Officer Marshall? About the blood-stained fingerprints? Well, if anyone may begin your testimony about the fingerprints found at the scene of the crime. Yeah, the main story ended. Yeah, I'm saying, like, the story's pretty much done, so. Yeah. Like I said, it's only natural to my fingerprints to be in the evidence room. One of them just happened to be in the same place as a blood-stained fingerprint. Murderer touched the locker with my fingerprint. Was by chance. Bloodstain and fingerprint are completely unrelated. Didn't you know that the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it. I don't know about that. Although there's no room to doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. Defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something, I feel it. Now I'm a chance to prove it. Let's try this. This because you, how did you put it? Pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What do you mean? I mean what I said. So that's the locker I used to be as a detective. The locker I still use. And all that's in now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over the locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from the locker's program. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Like, what if we didn't get a Dark War? I'd agree, but expanding it on the hell of possibility after the events of Central Fiction is like, you showed me the tastiest cake I ever seen and told me the baker no longer works there. No, you can't have it. I mean, that makes sense. How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up with reports. There was a blessed in the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. Oh yeah, that's right. Guess found the detective's Gumshoe's locker. However, the fingerprints were detected on the handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. Yeah, what do you mean? Murderer wearing gloves happened to be in a place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's only a logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? This seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. Oh yeah, the security cape. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. I think there is a trail though. Let's see. I'm thinking we need to present something. What do you mean by that? What do you mean you're not in the video? What we're time in this crime, and is that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. My video makes it useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. Camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone familiar with the camera's position, they can leave the room without being caught on tape. Oh, we don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, can you show us evidence the video indicates Officer Marshall was present? Please do so now. Yeah, I got evidence. I got the evidence. I got the evidence. I got the evidence. Oh no. Okay, this time I am gonna get warned. Right here.
Take that!
Bringing attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witness, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Oh, the white cloth is gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, White Cloth wasn't there. But then suddenly it appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened the locker when the camera was turned away. My sister just saw the stream and got triggered because she thought the avatar was made in Gacha Life from a distance. No, I used a pick crew to make this. What's wrong with the guy? What's wrong? Old George is sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. Now, so what if my locker was open? Doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Murder needs to hide something, so he opened the locker and stuck it in. Now, my fault it happened to choose mine. Okay, why is everyone staring at me like I'm the wanted man? Bro, he doesn't know. This guy isn't just playing dumb, he really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. Say to open a locker. Now prove it. Yeah, I will. With, this.
Take that!
A fingerprint sensor? We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Detective Gertrude did mention something about this. In any case, these logs aren't that obvious. There aren't even some people in the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Only got one word for you, partner. No! If this is a joke, it's the worst one I've ever heard. I'm assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you're doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Olay, please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure out the rest out from here. Oh, we can? Okay, have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where's the witness? See, Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion. Where was Officer Marshall at the scene of the crime? Guess right here?
Take that!
No, that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up as Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. I want to point out that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified to the man's reaction when confronted. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yeah, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer's simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on this ID card. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say about this, Officer Marshall? You got quite imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? Oh man, he's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break it, detective. Unless you got hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. Can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative business. Well, I can't say I care for your beer, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Miss Wright, do you have evidence proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. This can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? Looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you that someone told me when I was starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? Me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that the Officer Marshall was a disguise. Rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think his locker was open in the first place? There's no reason for Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later, as it has been. Wait a minute. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. Oh, wait a minute. I have an idea. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his old locker for somewhat no reason. In fact, the white cloth that's sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that. He opened his locker in order to put the cloth aside. So, what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is key to our unanswered question. I don't have any evidence, but the video is boldly shot. This, I don't know what to look for. Maybe it's the Blue Badger? Okay. Oh!
Take that!
For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman, entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you, and when asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out just like that. So you hid a coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated you. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now, would we? Oswald, tell the court what you did, all of it. All right, see, the time has come. The confession. I had to do it that day. Couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins, so I knocked him out. Managed to escape, I knew the areas which wouldn't be caught on camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found in the floor in the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is that he's the donor. That was way too much blood for a small donation. I knocked him out with a knife. When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? Yes, on that incident. 2 years have passed since the case was closed. It's going to be completely end with the transfer of that day. Not if I had anything to do with it. That incident's not over. What did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When the case is closed, only the case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of the investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, and that wouldn't get me anywhere. Ah, so you did the full security camera. And the detective's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out the lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor of the prosecutor's office parking lot. Why? The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite the lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open the locker yourself. But he could because the rubber glove would just happen to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that time. Officer Meekins certainly in a 1 in a million type of person. Mistaking the detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Well, anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. Sorry it had to turn out that way. Me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. That security tape is raced every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you blooded your coat in the struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. Oh man, what was Officer Meekins doing in that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So you're saying is on that day, but the blood found on the scene currently indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown here tape is me. I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker. Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. Miss Edgeworth, where is that evidence? Still missing, Your Honor. Technically, our locker was already empty. That means someone else have gotten in there. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer? This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. This can't be just forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one's mine. I'll do anything that it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. Can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know what? Let's pull out the paperwork.
Objection!
Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name, Marshall, is mentioned in here. And the list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. Wait. That one looked like a broken one of what he has. He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Oh, now remember, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SNL case before I did. That's right, and he was killed. The case fell into your hands. What's the relation to you? He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant and then Deputy Chief of Police. The criminal detectives I was part worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence, and that was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. Oh, and that's it. That's your reason for your insane actions. There is more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least there's one thing for certain. Now we know what happened to the police department on the day of the crime. And that was the last day the SO9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with the resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, the mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happened by chance never cease to amaze. Exactly the same time the murder at the prosecutor's office, the fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It's gotta be more than just that. It can't be just chance. Ah, so no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime. That means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means the only person could have committed the crime, Chief Prosecutor Lana Scott. Wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the evidence incident in the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There is yet to remain a mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. Seems to me the boy's got a draw on you, partner. All the mysteries of the police department could have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place in the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the only testimony of one Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. I rest my case. I know that man wouldn't get crumped like some get. See, the trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time. Disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on security camera's tape was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, time for the verdict has arrived. This one card to find defendant. Your Honor, wait. Emma? The defense has an objection, a scientific objection. Right? No, what do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor, in a sense, please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is a minute for your time. Please hear me out. Miss Rogers, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of shocked. Finding out the SO9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings. As you mentioned it, the names of both Skye sisters were in on the file. But that's when I figured it out. What Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. I knew his fingerprints had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint. Oh yeah, you mean the traces of blood found at Detective Gumshoe's locker. But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured out that if I examine it scientifically, I'm sure they'll find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. Oh, did you find something? No. Sorry, I guess I'm not too much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. I'm just an attorney. That's right. Those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If you can't find something wrong with them... Please, Ms. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy! Time's up. Alright now, Ms. Wright. Regarding to the incident at the police department, any reasonable doubt remain. Wait a minute. There is a problem. Yeah, actually there is. Hold on. This is just autoplay now. I'm gonna say there is a problem. Yeah, see, it's right. It's the video. The video's the answer. Well, this is you're grasping, right? You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something that hasn't been drawn on here? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Well, Mr. Wright, without evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use. This. The badger. It all started with a smile. Badger, that damn smile.
Take that!
What about that piece of plywood? The blue badger, the mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. Okay? The blue badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing the time of the crime. Yeah, that would be weird. Well, what? He just realized he just hit him. That's right. So long as the blue badger was dancing there, it would be impossible to place a handprint on this spot of the locker. What? So that means, what does that just mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces are undeniably found in the locker? Don't look at me. I didn't put it there. That's right. Think of it though scientifically. On that afternoon, Officer Mikos was the one who brought the blue badger to the evidence room, right? Oh my god. That's right. After you put it down, it would be possible to leave a handprint on the locker. So that would mean this blood mark was left there before the blue badger was brought in. Just one moment, I will not allow this far-fetched bold to answer my code word. I may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. One time was captured on tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Mikos cut his hand, from which which would trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is the other time. someone bled prior to the struggle down on this table. And it had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, this does not explain the blood mark found in the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? Well, the only place we can insert is the ID record. That's right, the blood mark proves this. Tell us, when this first incident occurred? So, Pix, you know what's funny? Last stream we were talking about the evidence of the dude 77777. Check it. Mr. 420 777777777. It's our only chance. The crime took place inside the evidence room. The killer would have had entered it. In order to do so, the ID card would have been required. Yeah, the ID card record. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence at this time at 4:50. Let's see, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, it would be 4:40. But there's a 4:20. Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done? I never would have figured you had a nerve, boy. Oh, drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood for the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have just 10 minutes to the murder. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up his blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean the crime must have been taking place before Miss Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. The only one other card number is 7777777. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make any sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only possible explanation. He went in with 7777777. Mr. Edgeworth, take a look at this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 77777. That's 1 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of the ID card. At least at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number 777 belongs to someone who is a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is so-called executive officer. We do not have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. But that's ridiculous. Just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There's one situation in which it can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against the executive is accepted. An official charge? You're all like, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's just how the prosecutor office operates.
Objection!
I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask you a question. Yes. No, not you, to her. The fin is sitting over there. Your own little executive.
Objection!
Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course, we looked up her ID number, and it's not 777777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I wanted to ask. I want to know is one thing about that incident. Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Do you need the witness to repeat this question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At that time, occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least I did. Oh shit. I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. What? Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. It's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence. See, that's what I'm talking about. No. Oh shit! The court is going crazy! Holy shit! They exploded! Oh my god, I never heard of the sound effects get this intense. Holy shit! Oh my god! Freaking someone threw a chair! They're starting to, it's a riot in the court. Holy shit. Oh my god. Lana just admitted that she forged evidence. God, Edgeworth has had a bad rep for 2 years. And it was actually Lana who did that shit. Oh my god. And Edgeworth was in charge of that case. And Lana was a witness and a prosecutor as well. So technically, he did use forged. You know what I just realized? Holy shit. I just realized. Freaking, oh my god. So, I remember that in the first case of Apollo Justice, that Phoenix Wright used forged evidence to get a one-up on one of the guys in Apollo Justice. Like, I remember that. It is such a fun parallel to Phoenix in Apollo Justice. Holy shit. Except for, with Phoenix, he lost his livelihood and lost everything. Edgeworth, He didn't lose everything. Everybody just kind of talked shit about him. Called him lucky and just said, "Oh, we should pull your badge. We should ruin your life, but we'll just let it be." Oh man, I want to go for another hour, but my voice is thrashed. Trying to do all these voices on my own is very difficult. I can totally see that after what like this case happened literally like a couple months after the uh the case with Von Karma. So I could see Edgeworth being like, you know what? I'm gonna disappear and do some soul searching. He's like, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with my life. And we haven't even figured out the truth of the situation yet. But yeah, don't know when I'm gonna be streaming next, but I'll be probably streaming again whenever I can. I definitely want to push it to get Rise of the Ashes done. But yeah, I'm gonna conclude the stream. I'm gonna rest my voice. Goodbye, everybody. Ow.